feistiest and wittiest commentary on social, political and domestic issues in general. Join me, Mina Gubran, here on Polview on Midpoint TV. Welcome back to Polview here on Midpoint TV. Before the break, we were talking about a Bill of Rights.
A Bill
O' Rights, if you're a young peoples today, or the young people today. Stephen Colbert
on the Facebook.
On the Facebook.
But we're going to move on to the European Union and the very interesting things that are going on in there at the moment.
Yes.
Because there are huge movements across countries within the European Union to get more independence from it. And then there are huge parties pushing for more integration within the European Union.
Yeah, so if I'm not wrong, from what I've understood of late, a lot of the people, crying foul are your, I believe you're Greeks, you're, who else is there? I think you're Spaniards, if I'm not wrong as well. A lot of the people who are dragging down the EU.
They're crying out despite taking hundreds of billions in bailouts and... but let's not go any further in that. Well, it's actually funny because opposition to the European Union comes from both spectrums. You've got people on the far left and the far right, which both dislike the EU because it takes away from their national sovereignty. And I think it's one of the first issues that you see people like socialists in Greece and UKIP in Britain take a common stance on.
I never thought I'd see the day where people from the far left would oppose any kind of union. So
that's very true.
Yeah, so you know that it's dire when that's the case.
And of course, it was the USSR. Good union.
Oh, very
great
good.
Union of states, but the
so good
European
that they imploded.
Union, oh yeah, they did such a great job.
They really did.
But it is a very interesting topic. And then along with that, you've going on from the Scottish independence debate, you've got people that want to become their own independent countries as well. So you've got Catalonia in northeast Spain, who's pushing for an independence from Spain.
Catalonia. Like that is it sounds ancient, but I've never heard of them, I have to say.
Barcelona, the Barcelonian state in northeastern Spain wants independence. So they've got a huge independence backing.
They win a World Cup, or not a World Cup. They win something in the European League, and they think they're good enough to have their own country now.
Oh well, they might do a good job.
Really?
And there was an online poll, an online mock referendum done in northern Italy, and about 90% of people voted in favour of secession from Italy. Wow. So we're actually in a huge period of transition in Europe, aren't we?
Yeah. Can I ask you, of those 99, how many votes were, would Mr. Berlusconi have counted for? Because we all know how his track record with, cooking. He's a very good cook, especially when it comes to certain numbers and things.
Yeah, he's done a great job, especially with his. I've always found it very funny how the media loves him.
I personally, he's
for what reason I don't know.
I don't know. I have no. But he's. It feels like he needs to have a camera for. Like if he had his own reality show, the Kardashians would go broke. Mark my words. The day Berlusconi cuts a deal with MTV is
a day in the life of Silvio Berlusconi. That would be the best.
My bunga life. That's what we have to call it. Seriously.
Season 1. That would go on forever. That would just be an amazing show. There would never be a shortage of demand for that.
No.
Oh,
I want to have.
I think I'm gonna have to go home and submit a few proposals to a couple of TV stations to write that, and perhaps email Silvio himself to see if he's interested.
I don't know. I mean, I think that if it depends on what your photo looks like, what photo you put up on Facebook when you message him and ask him to.
I'll put myself in a bikini, and that'll probably attract his attention a bit more.
Probably.
Trim the chest first. But we are seeing a huge transformation in Europe and in Italy as well.
What of late? I mean, what has Italy's financial landscape look like? I haven't heard much about it since Silvio Berlusconi was leader.
Well,
how are they faring at the moment?
Italy, luckily, didn't suffer as much as Spain or Greece economically. Well, Greece had one of the highest private borrowing rates in the world. They had over €1 billion owing in card debt alone, because once they joined the common market, once they joined the EU and the trade barriers were lowered between Germany, everyone started buying cars with a really low interest rate. And in Spain as well, you had a construction boom, which was as a result of low interest rates. So they both collapsed really badly in 2008, but Italy didn't suffer as much. So their house prices are still a lot higher and they're getting by. Silvio Berlusconi didn't do as bad of a job as perhaps we observed in Greece and Spain.
Well, we've all heard of his talents in many and very different areas.
Well, but, yes, and this is one area that we haven't heard his talents of as much.
No, he didn't screw his country over that badly at all.
No, but he did other things.
Yes. But in terms of the whole Greece thing, it's funny you should mention that. About I think 4 or 5 years ago, the Guinness Book of Records had a record entered of a taxi. It was like a 1965 or 70 something taxi. It was mid 60s or 70s taxi that had been operating since then, and had rolled over to past $1 million like 3 or 4 times, and so it just makes you wonder, like, if it's a bit misleading on the part of the Guinness Book of Records, given that people are just buying cars willy nilly, and I that was my understanding of the frugality of the car buying market in the car buyers within that part of Greece. But
well, they're definitely not. They definitely weren't frugal. And then the second you see that house prices are devalued, then everything crumbles.
Yes, well, I have to say that those bleached houses in Santorini aren't going to pay for themselves. But I don't know. I think that tourism would have been enough to have gotten Greece out. Every person I know, within my age bracket or slightly lower, seems to do Greece with Kentucky and various other different touring groups.
But do you think that can sustain over $1 billion just in car debt? Imagine what the house debt would be like. Imagine what the public sector debt would be like on top of that.
I don't know.
It's not just a matter of that spurring the economy. So in 2007, when house prices were really high and you buy an average house for 300,000 euros, and now a couple of years down the line, it's worth 20,000.
All I know,
but you've got that mortgage.
So, it's funny. All I know is that so bad was about the whole Greek situation was that so bad was the economic situation in Greece that people that had money within what was called Laiki Bank, then after that Beirut Hellenic Bank, then after that rebranded to become Bank of Sydney, their ability to withdraw their money and their savings from their bank accounts from here was frozen due to how bad and how dire the situation was.
Yeah, it's to stop a bank run, because with the current banking system, you don't have to have all the money on hand that's in deposits. So if everyone's depositing and taking money out of the ATM, taking money out of their accounts, there's not enough money that the bank has for everyone. Fear-driven withdrawals. And that's what started happening in Spain as well. Yeah. And it is very scary.
See, if tapas was just a little bit bigger, instead of those little rort of,
The $10 plates you get with 3 mouthfuls of potato.
Them.
Yeah, the ones in Glebe especially. Big shame.
Don't get me started. But anyway, aside from our, Spanish restaurant in Glebe, I do wonder though, speaking of food and what have you, how Greece, Greece has, is a huge importer of olives, Kalamata olives. They're a huge, unless told otherwise, unless we could determine otherwise. Sorry, not importer, exporter rather of. Sorry, I'll start again. Greece are, from what I understand, a huge exporter of Kalamata olives and of like tzatziki throughout the world.
Yes, because olives and dip can drive an economy.
Well, as they say, as our famous family, The Simpsons once said, you can't make friends with salad. So.
But yeah, of course. So I think relying on a specific type of olive and tzatziki.
But that's all we know about it. They, from what I understand as well, being a coastal town as well, they've got lots of other things to do with shipping, like a lot of other commercial interests in shipping,
like olive oil,
and all that other stuff you used to get on, like Age of Empires and trading,
and gold, wood.
Yes,
food.
exactly.
Slaves, stone. So yeah, but it's a very, very, very interesting paradigm. And in France as well, their president is at the lowest approval rating of any French president ever.
Not the left-leaning one.
Left-leaning doesn't...
What was his name?
Francois Hollande.
Wow.
The socialist president is now at a 30-something percent, low 30% approval rating.
Not our Francois.
The Francois Hollande, the socialist. And it's interesting to note that one of the unbiased lecturers at the University of Sydney, a renowned institution for being very down the road, down the line, hailed it as a new era for socialism, saying that socialism has come back and socialism is now re-entering the mind of the modern modern world.
And like the McFeast, not for long.
Not for long. It has. And the socialist government in Greece as well. They thought they were heralding a new era for socialism. It was like it was 1920 again, but then they failed.
Like a new renaissance, like a lefty renaissance.
A communist socialist
minus
renaissance.
the innovations and new ideas.
Oh, no. Like, I would hate to see a communist socialist renaissance. Because, those huge towers...
Who'd have thought that a communist regime could fail?
No. Yeah, those big tower blocks you see in Russia, the really gloomy ones, are the pinnacle of beautiful architecture.
Yeah. I have, certainly, all those dark alleyways.
The dark, beautiful, and they're heralding a new era for modernism. Thank God.
It's a shame. Mix a bit of... totalitarianism with it, and you've got a lovely lefty salad.
Amazing.
With whom you can't make friends with.
Salad.
Exactly. I was going to say though, where does that? I mean, given in the face of all this ardent stupidity on the part of Western lecturers within our various institutions, educational institutions, if these people are on the payroll of very world-renowned institutions that teach or that are teaching our newer generations of people.
Teach. Let's not go overboard.
Indoctrinate.
Yeah. That's. I think that's a more fair way to put it.
I just sneezed. I don't know what you're talking about. But anyway,
indoctrination. Yes.
Where to from here? If in the face of all these failing, neo-socialist states. What hope has humanity if what's happening in France at the moment, this guy Hollande, whatever his name is getting these sorts of really crappy ratings, in public polls. What hope has humanity?
Well, I think it's a great thing. I think it's great that we've had this socialist experiment since the.
But there is only, excuse the crudity of what I'm about to say, but there is only so much shining that a turd can take.
Well, okay.
And your lecturer has really buffed.
He wasn't my lecturer. I've seen videos of it, but it's so good that we've had this socialist experiment since the year 2000 in countries across the globe to further prove that it doesn't work and it will never ever work. After 5 years of austerity and cuts in the UK, the Labour Party there is not even reaching a 40% approval rating.
Ed Miliband, really?
Ed Miliband is not even at 40%. And the only reason that the Conservatives won't take government at the next election is because there's so many parties vying for it. In the UK, in France as well, in Greece, in Spain. Spain has a Conservative Prime Minister. And it just goes to show that this social engineering that socialists have tried to have has failed. Absolutely. And Obama as well. It's not going to work. And people are realizing the only way to fix it isn't through the collective. It's not through the bailouts that the banks were given. It's not through taxing people more. It's through individual entrepreneurship.
Yeah, and as we've heard in the past, the dollar doesn't discriminate.
The dollar doesn't discriminate. No, of course not.
I just don't understand how like in the face of all this, people can still come back. I was walking in Central 2 days ago, and they're still harping on the red flag, Green Left Weekly.
And these are newspapers for socialist students.
Yeah, yeah. Now I'm quite astounded at how socialist alternative, despite the fact that their name is about a alternative economic system, seem to have this this monopoly of logic on social ideas, on international happenings. It just seems a bit deceptive to me that the socialists are now also dipping their toes in the world of social commentary. What do you make of that? I mean, they were talking about the massacre, the genocide in Gaza.
Oh, because they have an opinion on everything, and the second you differ from it, you're wrong. And that's how they function. They're not willing to have a logical debate. They're name callers. They attack you for what you believe, but if you sit down with them, they can't produce a rational argument. And that's why you have people standing outside the CBD every day with petitions for X, Y, Z.
It's just funny. I mean, these people are opposed to working and getting paid for it, yet I don't know. I see no reason to suggest that they're not getting paid to stand in Central Tunnel and abuse people that don't take their
they're
papers.
probably not. They probably won't be getting paid. They probably have. I can't comment.
They've got New Start and other various.
Oh yeah, a great initiative for them. But one hypocrisy I find so amazing is they're harping on about the workers. Yeah. They love the workers. They fight for the working class.
Of which they are not.
Well, they're students, so obviously they're the same. They're workers.
They're also CO2 emitters. That's a
yeah.
Maybe
maybe instead of getting rid of coal, we should get rid of socialist students.
I agree. I completely agree. No, we can have them live in Scotland, where the grass is greener.
Greener. Oh yeah, there we go. Of course.
There you go. But yeah, no, I find it funny. I've been watching, as I said, a fair bit of the Greens commentary of late on what's happening within our detention centres. I don't know. I found it funny. A few weeks back, Sarah Hanson-Young had trekked it out to a pretty far and remote detention centre.
Only to find out that she's not allowed in.
Yes. Yeah. I would love to have been the fly on the wall in the meeting room of the owners / administrators of that complex that said she's coming. She's already on the plane here. I mean, it'd be really funny if she came to the front door.
Hey, wouldn't it be funny if?
Yeah, press the intercom and we're like, sorry, we can't let you in. It's sort of our rules and regs.
But I would be interested to see if that flight was on taxpayers' money.
It probably was.
It probably was.
Yeah, thank you for that, Sarah Hanson-Young.
And thank you, taxpayers.
That is the 18th worst thing you've done today alone. Oh, well, this month alone.
Oh, yeah. Well, imagine it. I'd hate to see the worst thing she's done over the last 50 years. Well, 50? Well, let's go back. Let's go negative age then.
Yes. Being born might have, been in the top 5, I'd imagine.
Yeah. But isn't it interesting also to see that the Greens did cop a 2% loss in 2013 in the polls?
Really?
Yeah,
Greens?
The Greens had a swing against them.
Wow, I mean...
a party for the future.
I mean, if a party of protest can be, disliked and alienate people...
Oh, but
a single-issue party...
Mina, you don't understand. They're not a party of protest.
They're not?
They're not. No, because they're a party of social justice, environmentalism, and insert the third, fourth pillars here.
Oh, wow. Well, on that inspirational note, I would like to leave you for another week, and hopefully you can tune in to watch us next week. Thank you.